Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right.
How are you, my brother?
I'm tired, alhamdulillah.
I'm
Check
happy
out.
to be here.
All right, let me introduce. Let me give you a quick introduction. All right, today we got something special. We got the brother Islam. The title, you want to tell the brothers why we decided to do this video real quick?
Yes, because it seems like some communities in the black community are becoming very disrespectful towards Muslims, towards Islam, towards Muhammad, towards Allah.
Mm-hmm.
And if we Muslims don't stand up to them, then it's going to get worse. So this is why I'm doing this rebuttal on the Shakka, saying that he's the authority on Allah.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull up a picture of this cat so people can see who we talking about. For those that's in the conscious community, then y'all should know who this dude is. This is a dude. We're not gonna disrespect him, but this is a nigga that runs around with makeup on his face and shit. Sometimes, I'll show you a picture of him. Man, this is crazy, man.
There he is right there too, Gaki.
That's him right there, right?
That's him.
All right, let me give him a better picture of who this cat is. But tell me tell me a little bit more about this cat. You know what I'm saying? And
Well, he's narrating a story. He's narrating a story that's a myth, and he's narrating the story as though it's true. And so, and it's very hard as a Muslim. It's very hard to listen to this cat. I give myself a headache trying to listen to this video, and this guy coming up with conclusions on something that was written on a rock in Mesopotamia,
mm,
and had to add Allah's name to it. And this is when you're dealing with mythology, automatically you know it's pseudo, it's not real. So for him to project this story as though it's true to the people, I think it's very deceitful, dishonest, and downright diabolical.
so this the nigga right here. For y'all that don't know, they can't really see this. This nigga, the one that's all the way to the right, that he likes disrespecting Muslims, Islam. KB salute, Sophia salute, Peter salute. This is the Sheikh Islam Salam. So we just giving you a little backdrop. Okay. Do you want to continue, brother?
Okay, so on this particular program, I'm sure he's done it before, but on this particular program, he's using some translations of the Sumeric language, which if people know anything about history, they know that Babylon, Sumer, Egypt, all these were pagan religions. They're all pagans.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks the idea that because they believe in multiple gods and polytheism, that automatically they can put Allah inside one of their stories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know if you worship in a statue, if you worship in a piece of wood, we know that this is false. This is a false god. So if a cat or a dog came by and pissed on one of his idols, that god couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah, or a human on it.
Yeah, and so what this guy's doing is very deceptive. Is that he's trying to put Allah inside the pagan ideologies and pagan mythology.
All right.
And so this is what we need to get straight. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on we're going to dissect this video that he did.
All right.
Okay. So you want me to play some of it?
Yeah.
Let's see if I got it running. I want you to listen to the introduction first. Okay.
All right.
Because the water for the mind of our people and for their hearts, because that's the greatest resource we got. Y'all thought I was only killing? Okay, Ta-Nehisi, the Sudan. Okay?
Can you hear it?
Yeah, we can hear it.
It's black. It ain't just white people that's fighting for the minds of black people. It's also misinformed, miseducated black people fighting for the minds of black people. You know what I'm saying? Hebrew Israelites, Christians, Muslims, Moors, all of these miseducated, misoriented African people are fighting for the minds of black people.
Okay, I want to stop it there for a second. I like to break down what he just said. He said we're all at war for the minds of the black people.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he's saying. Okay, it's already been established that Islam has been very good to African Americans. It's already established. We're not at war with the soul of the people. You know, we give the message, and people already know. We had very famous people that accept Islam: Malcolm X, Mike Tyson, you know, a lot. You know, Muhammad Ali, and even still, in the prison system, you know, we have the Muslims were actually the first ones in the prison system to do imam chaplains, because before they only had Catholics and Jews that would come to administer to the people.
They didn't let us have no imams.
Yes, and you know that in the prison system, most Muslims are African American descent. First of all, that's already in America is 10 million Muslims, 75% of African American descent. So it's not like we're not at war with the minds for the black people. We're already doing it. You know. So this guy he wants to go to war with us, an ideology, but he's not doing it in an honest way. He's being very deceptive. And I feel sorry for anybody that would follow that, because this is obviously paganistic. And okay,
now explain to people that don't know really what the pagans is. Explain to them why who the pagans is and why we don't follow that shit.
Okay, anybody that worships a god other than the God of Moses, Abraham, Jesus, Muhammad, that make statues. They have pyramids with sphinx on it, and idols. These are idol worshippers. Yeah,
these niggas like worship idols.
Yes, and to the point where, you know, now people have taken, they took these people and made them objects of worship. Just the way the Christians took Jesus as a person of worship. So when it comes to paganism, it's a very thin line between being a pagan and being monotheistic. And in Islam, we believe that if you're worshiping something other than Allah, it has to be Satan. It has to be Shaitan, because there's no God but Allah. Okay, and if you're worshiping something else, a pharaoh or Zeus, Apollo, Athena, one of these Greek mythologies, Roman mythologies, you're worshiping something like that, or you're worshiping a statue or an idol, then you're worshiping Satan. That's the bottom line. We can't make it no. We can't compromise that. We can't say it's okay you worship a dog or a cat or elephant. It's okay, you know. No, we can't do that. We say no, you can't do that. You can't worship no cow, no elephant. You can't worship. You only worship the one unseen God. That's the only one you can worship, and that's the God of Moses, Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, Noah, Adam, Jesus, Muhammad. They all worship and believe one God. And always in their time, there were people that were against them. The Romans were against Jesus. The Egyptians were against Moses. The pagan Arabs were against Muhammad. So it's always this fight between ideology, idolatry, and monotheism. There's always a battle between that. And these Kemetic guys, they're coming up with they're trying to include Allah in their pagan beliefs, and we have to straighten that out. We can't allow them to misinform the people. Like he was saying, misinform the people. That's the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So, okay, we'll continue. Let's continue.
Right.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit sometimes, okay?
All right.
And like my brother, the General Salaam said, he said, as long as they stay open, we gonna stay open. As long as the Hebrew Israelites gonna stay open, we gonna stay open. As long as the Muslims gonna stay open, we gonna stay open. As long as the Christians gonna stay open, the churches, we gonna be open. You feel me? Because the war is for the mind of our people and for their hearts, because that's the greatest resources we got. Y'all thought I was only Kimmy? Y'all thought I only knew about ancient Kimmy? Y'all don't know me too well. I do this. It's called scholarship. Oh, and Baby with the feds. Baby with the.
He's basically trying to diss the Moors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This was against the Moors. Man, I'm not a Moor, and I don't believe in the ideology of the Circle 7 Quran. But when we talk about Allah, you know what I'm saying, and you talk about Muhammad, that's a different story. So you see how very arrogant this guy is. You see how very how you say he full of himself.
Yeah, he lost me when he cut all his hair off and just kept that ponytail on the side of his head. You know what I'm saying? He lost me with that, and they lose me when they start putting makeup on their face, trying to look like they Egyptians.
You know, this is the Pharaoh. This is following the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Pharaoh. This is trying to look like him. He looked like the guy from Moses, Yul Brynner that got the ponytail.
Yeah.
Of the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
That's who he's trying to look like. I would call him Yul Brynner.
Yo. The nigga look like Cersei from 300.
You wrong, guy.
That's what he look like.
Tassel. Call yourself the Hawker Bay. You told me to get my scholarship up. It's gonna be so up right now. You're gonna get a crook in your neck from looking up. You're gonna be looking up like this. You're gonna get a permanent crook in your neck. Since you wanna talk shit to a real scholar. Okay? To a bona fide scholar. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, so now we're dealing with a scholar, okay?
Yeah, whole scholar.
So we're gonna have to put our scholar caps on.
Yeah, okay. My scholar cap is on, man. Talk that.
All right. Let's listen to. And
he asked if he's a Jew. Can you let the people know what he is?
He is an African American wannabe Egyptian pharaoh.
A nigga with that got a criminal record.
And he wanna be an idol worshiper like the pharaoh was. I don't think he's Jewish. I think he's very anti-Jewish, if you ask me.
He might be Jewish. Definitely not Jew.
Yeah, it could be. Aki, anytime I'm playing this video, you want me to stop, let me know. And
no, I will. Go ahead, continue.
Okay.
Okay. Here's Canaan, the Levantine area. All right. According to Noble Drew Ali, this is where the descendants of Africa come from, and they worship Allah as their universal God. According to Noble Drew Ali and the Circle 7 Quran and the Moors with the fez, like Baby with the fez and them, right? They say that this is where we come from, right? They say the people here came from here, and that Allah is the universal God. But if that's the case, you got to tell me why. Number one, Allah don't come from here. Allah don't come from here, from Arabia. Allah comes from here, Mesopotamia, Sumer, Babylon, Assyria. This is where Allah comes from. Okay? So how the hell you gonna say? Are you gonna say Allah started here and then went there? No.
Hold on for a second.
Show you what I mean.
Well, if there was a dispute with where Allah originated from, don't you think that they would have been arguing about it back then when, you know what I'm saying, when they said that Allah is God, when the Prophet Muhammad SAW said that Allah is God, don't you think people would have been like, oh, we know already because they've been telling us that for a little while?
Well, you know, Abraham lived in Babylon. Abraham lived there.
Okay.
So people already knew that there was people that worship only one God. They already knew that. There wasn't no statue or nothing like that. So we already know that Abraham went through there, and I think it was Noah was through there too, also in Babylon. That's why they say such an old place. But they were very steep in idol worship. This is why Abraham left Babylon.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to kill him. because he was
Then
saying,
he make the statue one statue he
yeah,
broke the
yeah,
statue.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He came back and said, "Yo, what happened to our idols?" He said the little one did it.
Ask him.
I said, yeah. He said the
Yeah,
little one.
yeah, yeah. He said, ask him who did it. Yeah,
Action
that's
statues.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's the story with Abraham. That's right. So these brothers here, they only go like 2,000 years or whatever, maybe to Sumer time. You know, you got to remember Adam and Eve was 40,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But they will say Adam and Eve existed. But in every culture around the world, they have some kind of story that's similar to the story of Adam and Eve. There's always, that the Chinese have Fu Xin and some other person that got together and they embraced and became like two dragons. And I mean, you know how paganism, they make a story, they make a nice story. So in all these places, they had the origins of some story like Adam and Eve, some story. So for them to say that there was no Adam and Eve, because a lot of them say that, a lot of them say there was no such thing as Adam and Eve.
Hold up. Let me interrupt for 1 second. Adam and Eve. Remember, this is a subject, a sensitive topic. This is like politics. We'll never get the right answer. Well, you know what? We're not really trying to save everybody. We're only trying to address certain things that was said in disrespect towards Islam. This ain't about like them believe, because me and Islam already agreed that some people in the Quran, it says that Allah has placed a veil over their eyes, right? And some of these people are just not going to be able to see certain things or accept it. We already know that. We know that that's a losing battle, but we only speaking to the ones that really listening and the ones that feel disrespected by this information that this half a faggot nigga is given. Excuse my language.
Yeah, because we're not. I'm not. I ask Allah to protect my heart and to protect my tongue to protect it from lying and from being honest or to betraying or to be betrayed. Only thing I could spit is the truth as well as I know it.
That's
but I'm
right.
not gonna make shit up.
Yeah, and that when they start making shit up, especially when they start sourcing books from people that they say that they don't even fuck with. Like how you conveniently go into the ops to get the information and
Exactly, Aki, exactly.
move the goalposts.
And Sanera's good for that. He do that. He gets a lot of his information from anti-Islamic, Islamophobic sources. Yes, he does. And he tried to use it on Muslims and make Muslims feel like, trying to create doubts in their minds when, I feel sorry for them brothers, for real. On everything I love, I feel sorry for, because the soul is a terrible thing to waste.
See,
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. But this thing's like 3 hours long.
Allah's Sumerian
this is supposed to be Allah.
Okay? Yes.
An image.
This is where Allah comes from. Sumer. Sumerian. Here we go. You know who that white boy is?
Okay, now he's going to start using his references. Okay, Oxford, Harvard, Princeton, all the different colleges.
You got your first donation, Aki. It's wild that they assume Islam was created by Arabs. Like we create our God, like he created his. This ain't how Islam works. Absolutely. It doesn't.
Okay, now you see, now he's going to start using these are his sightings and his references. Okay, he's going to be using people that graduated from, let it play out and then we'll get back to it, okay?
That white boy is Dr. Thorkild Peter Rudolph Jacobson, PhD. Right? In 1927, he got his MA from the University of Copenhagen. 1929, PhD, Oriental Institute, University of Chicago. 1929 to 1937, right? Field Assyriologist for the Iraq expedition of the Oriental Institute at the University of Chicago. 1946, he was the director of the Oriental Institute. 1955 to 59, he was the editor of the Assyrian Dictionary. 1962, professor of
That's enough. You better ride them nuts.
This litany, I'm gonna read it for you.
Ride that guy's shit. All right. He's using this guy from Harvard.
Okay.
That he is the utmost authority in translating Sumerian language. Okay. Now, remember now, not long ago, this is why I don't care what school you go to, how many degrees you got. Not long ago, Harvard, Oxford, and all these universities, about 50 years ago, they were pushing the eugenics. And they were saying that the white people had came from Neanderthal, but that the black people evolved from monkeys and apes. These are the same people that made racism shoot 40% because of Darwinism. Okay, these colleges, this Oxford, this Harvard, Princeton. You know, I mean, I ain't got nothing wrong. I ain't got nothing against education. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I ain't got nothing against it. But homeboy don't need to be riding them nuts like the way he ride this dude nuts. That's for real. Okay, so uh, we're going to get back into this because now we're going to get into the book that he's using. The book that he's using to use for his proof that Allah come from Sumer. Okay, because it's written in the tablets. It's written in the tablets. That's what he says. Written on stone. That's just one guy he's using. I'm gonna try to fast forward a little bit. Okay, Matt, we'll make him keep it moving.
Right.
This litany constitutes, especially in its short form, with only Ninatsu, Damu, Nigishishida, and Allah, Lugashuri, and Ishtaran, the heart of the Damu cycle of gods, and appears to be limited to the local cults of the lower Euphrates region. Now, if you're talking about the Damu cycle of gods, you're talking about ancient Sumer. Do you hear what I said? You're talking.
Jana says,
just like Orset is a goddess of the gods of the Damu cycle, a particular cycle. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, to you be your belief to be mine, but you ain't going to tell me them lies.
Who said that?
That's Jana says that. You be your way to me be mine, nigga. But don't take us to be soft or suckers. You know what I mean? Like, and what's so crazy is how they like moving the goalposts. Here it is. What's so weird is this, Aki. They speak so much shit against these other people, especially white people. Don't let them be white. You know what I'm saying? And then conveniently use them as to cite a reference for something historic. That's crazy.
and no, what they say is, according to the Bible, white is pure. So it must be pure knowledge. You know, that's probably how they look at it. That's exactly what he says. But the thing is, the point of this is, you see all the names with Allah on that thing, where we're saying all the names, Inaku, Inini, Nana, Nunu, all these different gods.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat, that lets you know that this is already
it's tampered with.
Already pagan. Yeah, you already know that. We already know that. Because, I mean, even anybody, like we said, like Muslims say, if you worship anything other than Allah, you got to be worshiping Satan. That's got to be, because there's no other God. There's no other God. There's no God of the water, God of the ocean, God of the trees, God of the sky, God of this, God of that. It's not that many gods.
You know something? The only thing I know about the pagans, right? First and foremost, from the Quran, it speaks about we learned a lot about the pagans. We speak a lot about the pagans. You know what I'm saying? Now, and so from that perspective, I know historically about the pagans, and then also, when you come out the masjid, especially on 96th Street. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like a bunch of them, like gypsy pagans, you know what I'm saying, that's outside, asking for money, right? Basically begging for money and shit. So that's my second thing with the pagans that I know about them. But then the third thing I know about them, you remember a group called Jungle Brothers?
Jungle Brothers.
Jungle Brothers, Jungle Brothers, Jungle Brothers. Remember them?
I, tell me some more.
Okay, okay. Well, the Jungle Brothers, they one of the real historical hold up a second. They one of the historical rap groups that you know what I'm saying, that pioneered hip hop. You know what I mean? So
What
one of
song?
them, yeah, one of the niggas decides to become a pagan. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that I know about those comedic, like the comedic people and the pagans, they love dressing up. They love like you know, this is what he looks. This is what he used to look like when he was a rapper,
Damn, son.
and that's
Why
what
you,
he looks like now as a pagan.
man, he kind of maxing out. Wow. Why you max out like that, son?
He went out bad, right? Hold up.
Word, word.
Yeah, this is Mike G. This is Mike G. Let me make it bigger.
Damn,
That's how,
son.
this is what he does now.
Why you max it out like that, son?
But this is how they like to dress. And what's so weird is that why is that their beliefs? You know what I'm saying? Fixed. You know what I mean? And all
Well,
of this.
yeah, they do that. The people that want to look like the Pharaoh, the Pharaoh was a handsome dude, I guess, according to them, but he was a man. He was a
Yeah,
man. The Pharaoh was a man. He was not a god. He thought he was God. And he
yeah.
told the people that he was God. And he got suckers today still believing he's God. You know what I'm saying? That's the core of their belief. That's
Now
that's the core of their belief is to worship these pharaohs as deities. Like when he's talking about Sumer, he's talking about Babylon. Those people were steeped in idol worship. That's why they got so many statues. So when you see people with statues like that, already lets you know that they don't have what can a statue teach you?
let me read something real quick that I just read. It says Pharaoh, according to Quran, is a pagan, right? And filled with moral vices. During his despotic rulership, he does not surrender to the command of God and his prophet, and is in continuous war with continuously in war with them, right? Among the methods which have been used to divine scriptures for propagation and cultivation for people is storytelling. Those stories which have an origin in historical facts are good warning for future generations. The adventures of Pharaoh and his followers and the challenges with which Moses and the other prophets was grappled in dealing with them are among the important issues addressed in the Quran and the Old Testament. Part of the life, prophetic mission, and efforts of Moses is related to the tyrant Pharaoh of his time. So the
Yeah,
tyrant Pharaoh. Now, some people believe that Pharaoh was one person. There was many Pharaoh.
many pharaohs. That's
You
right.
know, so throughout human history, there were always some people who have not spared anything of enmity, torture, and troublemaking. And you know what I'm saying? This nigga was torturing motherfuckers, all type of
Yo,
shit.
yo, yo. He had children from his daughters. He had Ramses II had children for his daughters. Ramses II was the most brutal of all the pharaohs, yet he was the most extravagant. Mostly all those statues and those pyramids and those cities built was during Ramses II. Before him was Seti, and then before him was Ramses I. But Ramses II was the time of Moses. That's who got drowned. Ramses II.
Now, the story of Moses, Pharaoh, and the adventures of Jews related in the Quran. The story of Moses, Pharaoh, and the adventures of the children of Israel has been recited in 27 chapters of the Quran, most of which are Meccan. But in the Old Testament, we encounter two pharaohs, and the basic scheme of story is drawn almost completely in historical order in Exodus and in other books. Only one or two verses have even been devoted to the destiny of the second Pharaoh and his drowning.
That's
Of
right.
course, in the New Testament, there are some cursory indications of the Pharaoh in the time of Moses. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, you could continue. I just wanted to drop that
No,
real
no,
quick.
no. I'm going to add to what you just said, so we will have a good understanding on that. The Pharaoh in Moses' time, he was the oldest. He lived the longest. He was Pharaoh for 66 years. The Bible has his story a little bit wrong because according to the Bible, Moses was 80 years old when he received revelation. But according to Quran, when he was a full man, he was 40 years old. So that made him, and then he had to leave for 8 years and work for that man work for Jethro for his daughter in marriage. But so when he came back to face the Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go, he was 58 years old. He was 58 years old. But according to the Bible, he was 80. But it doesn't make sense he was 80 because
repeat that real quick, Aki.
I said according to the Bible, when Moses received his first revelation from God, he was 80 years old. Okay, but according to Quran, he was 40 because when a man when we full grown, we're 40 years old. That's Islamic says that you're a grown man when you're 40. So Moses was 40 when he first received revelation, and he lived with the Jethro when he married that Arab woman. Actually, she was Arab, and he married that woman. He had to stay there for 8 years. That was the promise he made to her father before he could marry us. He had to stay. But when he received revelation, then he went back to Pharaoh to get the rest of the children of Israel free. You know, see, the Comedics, they refused to believe that the Pharaoh held these Jewish in bondage. They refused to believe that. Because actually, you got the black Hebrew Israelites saying that the original Hebrews were black, right? Right? What they say, right?
Yeah.
Now you got the Kemet saying that the original Egyptians were black also.
Well, them niggas also saying that they can move shit with their mind.
That in the time of Moses, magic was the thing. That's why when Moses came back and he threw the stick, and his stick swallowed the other two, and then you had the plagues, and then you had, it was a time of magic. So Moses came with magic to fight magic.
So wait, what do the Kemetic community say about the fact that Allah allowed them to fucking drown?
They got nothing to say about it. They'll say it didn't happen. They say it didn't happen. I don't know how the black Hebrew Israelites and the Kemetic people, I don't know what kind of relationship these people got. Because to me, they look like black on black. I mean, if the Hebrew Israelites claim the original Jews were black, okay, they were in bondage against the Pharaoh, the Egyptians. So the Egyptians, they claim that they were black, also African. So, I mean, to me in Islam, it doesn't matter what color they was. Really, that's on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's white or black, yellow or orange, alien, green, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us. The thing that matters to us is that it happened. That's what happened. That's regardless of what color or race they were. These people caught up on race and color, they ain't going nowhere, brother. They ain't going nowhere. Asibiya min jahiliya. That means nationalism comes from ignorance.
Jahiliya.
You know what I'm saying? Abisiya min jahiliya. Nationalism is from ignorance. Okay? So the Pharaoh, the Ramses II in Moses' time was the most brutal. Okay, well, we're going to talk about him later, and we're going to bring a stone. We're going to bring a stone from the Egyptian pyramid about this guy. We're going to bring a stone. We're going to talk about the stone because the brother says he got stones. We got stones too. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit.
Here you go. All right, page 491. Iki, full form Intekek or Inketek, God of fresh water, Allah, same as.
Okay, now he's using like a table of contents with Allah's name in it. How much time we got?
Origin, and you don't do the research.
We got as much time you need, brother.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, now we're gonna go into the book that he's using as proof.
So I'm about to read the entire Atara Hashish to you because you gotta see.
It's called the Atara Hashish.
Been hiding from you.
But it looked like he's smoking hashish.
Arabs been hiding from you. The Arabs ain't hiding from you. They just don't know. And the ones who do know, make sure that they hide it. Okay? Because Islam is all they got. They ain't got nothing else. Islam and they got Islam and they got oil. That's it. Here we go.
We said
Islam and oil.
That's all we got. Funny dude, man.
Okay? And I'm not disrespecting Islam. I'm not saying anything bad about Islam. I'm not saying anything bad about Allah. What I am talking about are those people in the black community who mislead and miseducate and misguide black people about their religions.
Okay, now you see he's talking about misguide and mislead the black people about the. But look at the alternative that he's given us.
Yeah.
Look at the alternative. Worship a man, a deities, Horus, Ra, Rat,
Wood,
ISIS, and all of them is like, freaky. No freaky.
It's freaky, no freaky.
Okay. All right.
Because they don't know anything about their religion. They think they know something about their religion. They hear Elijah Muhammad talking, and so they fall in love with Allah. They hear Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, they hear him talking, and they fall in love with Allah. They hear Noble Drew Ali talking about Allah, where it all came from, that's where they all got it from. They hear Noble Drew talking about Ali, they hear Noble Drew Ali talking about Allah, and they all fall in love with Allah and the Quran and Islam. But they don't know what Noble Drew Ali did not know. Noble Drew Ali was the descendant of former slaves just like us. He came from a people that were made ignorant, deaf, dumb, and blind just like us. But somebody had to come, little old me, somebody had to come and open your eyes. I got to pull my people off all.
So now,
let me just say something. Noble Drew Ali don't got shit to do with us. He did. That nigga was a Moor.
Just like them.
Yeah, he was a Moor. He wasn't a Muslim.
You see now what he said? He said, we were all blind until he told us. Until he teaching us. We all Muslims, all black people, everybody's blind. Now we're not because he told us. That's what he's saying. He's telling us, oh, you heard it from me. That's what he said. Okay? Congratulate him, man. He's like the Guinness World Book of Records.
Without him, we wouldn't know shit.
That's a smart dude, that son.
This nigga is wearing Young Thug dresses and shit. Nah, I can't. You know what it is? I can't, because we do have Muslims in prison. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk a little bit about that, or prison leadership, or imams and stuff, right? But what I'm saying, this type of freaky shit I can't fuck with. See, look, let me show you something. This is what I'm saying. Like, but once I get here, I did time and all that, you know what I'm saying? When I start seeing niggas that talk about they want to lead the black community and shit, right? And without them, we lost. And I see niggas dressing like this concerns me.
Yeah, you should feel concerned, my nigga. You should feel concerned. You should feel concerned. You really should feel concerned because they look
living his best life with that dress.
It looked like a costume. It looked like they're wearing a costume. Let me tell you something, Aki. Muslims, we wear nice stuff, bro. Kufis look cool. We got the turbans. We got the camisas. You ever see them Hebrew Israelites, bro? They look like they're wearing grandma just got out the shower cap.
My nigga got a ponytail in his hair.
Yeah, I know. I know he big. Big Ramsey wannabe, Big Pharaoh wannabe. I don't know. It's amazing to me that these brothers come up with this Kemetic ideology when you know monolithic religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, it gives them a better. I ain't gonna knock the Jews. I ain't gonna knock the Christians. If I got a choice with this,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? That's like the
You trying to
one.
say you trying to say you wouldn't have shit to say about no Muslims or nobody else if this was the only option. You'd rather fuck with something else before you start pressing like
That's
that.
on everything, son.
There's
Everything.
better alternatives.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I mean, I don't want to talk about their beliefs, Aki, because I know my children in the chat. But a lot of the stuff that these people have, how can you teach it to a kid, man? How would you want to teach it to a kid?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, you got. I'm just going to give you one example. Isis and Osiris was brother and sister.
But don't they just support that incest shit?
Well, I guess they down with the LGBTQ. I don't know.
They down with something. They definitely down with GAY, OLOGY.
No freaky, bro. No freaky.
No freaky, no freaky. Excuse us in the chat, man. No freaky, y'all.
Okay. Here now he's gonna get into the story, the epic. He calls it the epic.
Right.
A story coming from a stone that they found in Iraq. In Iraq. So now he's taking this stone as word over Quran, Bible, and Torah. This is what he's doing. He's taking a myth. He's taking a myth and he's putting it before already established books. This is a piece of a rock somebody wrote on.
The slave plantations, off the Arab slave plantation, because they enslaved us for 1,000 years, and I gotta pull you off the Christian plantation, and I gotta pull you.
And now he's saying that the Arabs had the Africans for slaves for thousands of years.
Thousands.
Impossible. That's impossible.
For thousands.
Thousands of years. Yes, yes. I want to explain something to the audience because this topic always comes up. You know, they say that the Arabs came, the Muslims came from Mecca and ravishing through Africa, tearing shit up, taking, plundering. You know, there's more Africans in Africa than there is sand in Mecca. If there's no way that little bit of Arabs in that little bit of country, in that little piece of land, could come and conquer a whole continent. You know, I mean, that only makes sense.
The influence will still be there somehow, like local content.
In the beginning, Prophet Salaam, he sent a delegation to a king named Nenges. He was a Christian king. And from there, the Christian king accepted Islam, and Islam spread through Africa like that. We didn't have to kill no Africans to spread Islam. We didn't have to. You know, we didn't have to. They claim that the Arabs. I mean, I'm not going to say that there was. History says there was a Arab slave trade. It says it. I'm not really versed on it. I'm not going to mention about it.
Let me say something though. But you know what? The one thing. Let me just interrupt for a second. When they start talking that shit about that the Muslims, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, like we ruled with the sword and you know what I mean, and we just took over shit and we made people slaves and all of this bullshit, right? Their interpretation of slave and our interpretation of slave has been been contorted because we don't look at slave how they look at slave. That's number one, right? But number two, Islam is the religion of peace, and we have a saying, like somebody just said it earlier: "To you be your way, to me be my way." If this is our land, just like the government, you're gonna pay a certain amount of tax and stuff like that. But for the most part, live your life. Nobody wants to conquer you. We're not into that. We not into you don't want to be Muslim, so you die. When the last time y'all seen any Muslims raid a neighborhood and make them niggas Muslim? What you got? Whatever you plan, you got to cut it off. Mm. Now look at this,
So,
Sheikh. Look at this, Sheikh. Let me just finish this thought before you
I'm
continue.
sorry. Go ahead.
This because what you just said about Aki, about how we had slaves and shit like that. They always try to use that, or they try to say the Rasulullah was a pedophile, or you know what I'm saying? They say things like that. Why? They would have to find you. I mean, you have to force yourself to believe that the only way that people, the fastest growing religion in the entire world, we need to force somebody. We don't even promote Islam. When the last time you seen a Juma, a cook bar just pop up on your algorithm in YouTube? Unless you go to a specific imam, you'll never see this pop up. We're not advertising, just like Maybach doesn't advertise. You just even know about the Maybach, or it's a personal thing. We don't go out to propagate the Islam. We don't sit on corners and say Allah is coming. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do that. We have no instructions to do that. We do have instruction to spread the Islam, you know what I'm saying, by way of how we live. Our actions show who we are if we are in representation of Muslims. So you don't want to go to Mac Mean channel and look at Mac Mean bugging out on somebody and look at that as a representation of Islam. What you want to do is you want to get your guide from the Quran and then the Sunnah of the Prophet, which is what the Sunnah, for people that don't understand, is what's left for us to know what the Prophet Muhammad SAW did. That's why we say this is a way of life and not a religion, because there's no compulsion. We can't make you in no kind of way want to become Muslim. The only thing we could do to you niggas is calm you down when you disrespect us. That's the only thing we could do. And even in that, we have a manuscript of peace of when we dealing with fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? That means the Rasulullah SAW, the Prophet Muhammad, the one that we look at the most for, right? One day was disrespected right in the masjid. Where he could have got the dude had to be. They say he was mashnoon. He had to be mashnoon, crazy, to come into the masjid. That's like you coming up in my circle with 15 ex killers, 30. You know what I'm saying? Rich dudes. You know what I mean? People that will literally kill for me and spit in the masjid. And guess what they did? They didn't kill him. They didn't cut his head off. None of that. When somebody opened up their mouth, one of his friends, let's say his friends, it was one of his sahabas. Soon as he opened up his mouth to say something to the dude that spit and disrespected the prophet left. And when the dude caught up with him, he said, "Why did you leave?" He said, "Because while he was slandering us, right? I was smiling, and while the Rasulullah was smiling at him. He said, because the angels were sending curses to him. He said, as soon as you open up your mouth, right, the angels left. And when the angels left, that's when I left. So when they talk that shit about we had Muslims, I mean, Muslims had slaves, and we was the first one with slaves and all that weird shit. They interpretation of slave is crazy different from us, bro.
This, like you were saying, like you just said, this is the religion of advice.
Mm-hmm.
We advise. We give them
Nasiha.
advice. That's right. We give them advice. We don't stand in the corner preaching the Bible, screaming and cursing. We don't do that. Allah says when you talk to the people, talk to them with words that will touch their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because what they say, don't talk about it, be about it.
Oh, let me add something in about that advice. The Arabic word that we were given is nasiha, and it's not just advice. This advice is a little bit different. See, regular advice is like, yo, man, you know what I'm saying? You should change that hat. It don't match your shirt. What we give is sincere advice. You know what I'm saying? So nasiha means it's from the heart. It's advice from the
Yes,
heart.
yes. We use the words to touch the heart. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Because that's everything comes from the heart. So if you could take the words to touch the people's heart, then you touch the people.
Hmm.
And Islam was not spread completely to look. The Muslims defeated the Romans, the Greek, the Persians. Who Egypt think there was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If Kemet was so strong, why they couldn't defeat them desert Arabs coming there fighting with sandals on? You know, I mean, okay, we want to say that we conquer stuff, but history shows very small numbers of Muslims control vast of land, and it was not just because the people were scared of the kung fu Muslim kung fu sword, because the people came where they bought government, they bought law, they bought you just couldn't be barbaric with people. You had to follow the rules.
They liked how we was rocking, and that's why the prophet's wife married him. You know what I'm saying? Khadijah, she was rich. You know what I mean? And he used to do business for her. They liked the Muslims because they trusted us.
Yeah, so that's right. We do business. That's right. We're fair. We're supposed to be because Allah's watching us, so we can't just be. And even look right now. There's a statue in the U.S. House of what is it? The Circuit Court, Supreme Court in Washington D.C. It says Muhammad, the greatest lawgiver on earth.
Wow, I didn't even
You know
know
what I'm
that.
saying? The greatest lawgiver on earth. Right in U.S. House Supreme Court, right there. As far as that pedophilia thing that they say always saying about Prophet Muhammad, this is a key. They have Christians studying Islam more than they study Christianity. So they take this hadith that says Aisha was 6 or 9. They take this hadith and they run with it. And they say, oh, he was a pedophile. But they don't read the rest of because even though it's 2 billion Muslims on this planet, and we know this hadith. We know this hadith. But we know Prophet Muhammad was no pedophile. We know this. So we know that Aisha was already engaged to marry somebody else. So she couldn't have been that age. But they want to, because we know next week, Aki, we're going to have this one. It's going to be called the difference between Quran and the Bible. That's going to be next week, inshallah, if you want to have it. If you want to have it. But they know that Muslims know their Bible very well. We know their Bible very well. We know the dirt and the grind. There you go. Prophet Muhammad honored by the U.S. Supreme Court as one of the greatest lawgivers in the world, 1935. That's right.
It says that he is depicted holding the Quran. The Quran provides the primary source of Islamic law. Prophet Muhammad's teachings explain and implement Quranic principles. The figure above is a well-intentioned attempt by the sculptor Adolf Wyman to honor Muhammad, and it bears no resemblance to Muhammad. Muslims generally have a strong aversion to sculpting. Yeah, we don't really like people
Yeah.
paint pictures of the prophet or trying to
That's right.
depict them. But we understand this. We understand it was they was acknowledging how great of a lawgiver he was.
Yes. And you don't see nobody standing around kissing him and worshiping him. Just as a statue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, I want to get finished this guy because we got
the Jewish plantation. My job, that's what I came here for. To free you. Now you can either stay free, you can get free, or you can stay a slave. But you can never say I didn't show you or tell you. No, you can never say I didn't show you because I'm about to show you. So here we go. I'm about to read the entire After Hadith. Pay attention. Ain't nobody ever done this for you before, and ain't nobody gonna do it for you.
Aki, can you see this here?
Nah, I can't.
Can you blow it up on yours? Can you blow it up?
Nah, just tell me what it says.
Okay. Myths from Mesopotamia.
Okay, so it's already wrong because it says
And this is what he's using as a source.
it's already wrong.
Already. We already know if you look up the word myth, it is something that's not true. Okay, so you want to hear the story of Allah, his brothers, and how he went against the greater gods, and he was a minor god, and it sounds like a story you tell a kid to go to sleep. That's what it sounds like. But he actually thinks he got the aha moment on Muslims. Aha!
Yeah,
this is where Allah's from.
right he's sourcing is a myth.
Absolutely. If you're using a myth as a source, you're using falsehood. You're not using
It's
facts.
fake.
Yeah. So the creation, the flood, Gilgamesh, and others. So all this book is, well, we can understand why he's using this book. I understand why. He's using this book because Kemet is also mythology. So to them, to them automatically, a myth is true. They
Okay,
worship.
hold it down for a second. Continue your show. I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll let it play.
You'll get in the future. I'm doing it for you. Your brother Shakka Ahmose. Here we go. And Sinetta is bringing it to you on Sinetta TV. Now, you want to know why black media is important? Because this is the only place on the planet you're going to get this. All right? Here you go. The Atrahasis tablet, number 1. The Old Babylonian version, translated by Dr. Stephanie Daly, PhD, Oxford University. Now we're going to check Allah's credentials. Here we go. When the gods, instead of man, did the work, bore the loads, the gods' load was too great, the work too hard, the trouble too much. The great Anunnaki made the Igigi carry the workload sevenfold. Now, the great Anunnaki are the primordial gods in Sumerian cosmology.
Okay, now you hear this guy. Now you hear this guy saying that the gods got tired of digging. Okay, and they want to revolt against the other gods. Say, we're tired of digging. I mean, what God you know in the world digs? I mean, if you believe in God, does God dig? You need a shovel, So obviously, this story is talking about people, men that have been taken as deities for worship. This is what this story is all about. And I wish this brother would be more honest on what he's doing, because he ain't, Muslims, we ain't no dummies. We ain't no dummies. You ain't gonna run no game like that on us. Maybe you can run on the other suckers over there, but you ain't gonna run it on us. Well, we gonna pull your card. We gonna pull your card, because falsehood will knock the head off of truth will knock the head off of falsehood all the time.
Great Anunnaki created other gods to do work. Okay? You got to remember this. These other gods are called the Igigi. The great Anunnaki made the Igigi carry the workload sevenfold. What was the workload? The workload was creation, creating. This is Sumerian cosmology. This is Akkadian, Sumerian, Mesopotamian cosmology. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, cool. All right. So, put it back here. We're going to continue on. All right. The great Anunnaki made the Igigi carry the workload sevenfold. Anu, their father, was king. So Anu was the great god of the Anunnaki. Okay? Anu, their father, was king. Their counselor warrior, Elil. Their chamberlain was Ninurta. Their canal controller, Inugi. They took the box of lots, cast the lots. The gods made the division. Anu went up to the sky, and Elil took the earth for his people. Now remember that. Anu, the father of the gods, the father of Anunnaki, he took the sky. He went up to the sky. Elil took the earth for his people. So we're going to find out who his people are. These are the Igigi. Okay? Hold on. The Igigi, yeah. Their counselor, hold on. Carry the workload sevenfold. Anu, their father, was king. Their counselor warrior, Elil. Their chamberlain, Ninurta, the canal controller, Inugi. So this is the Anunnaki. Okay? So the Anunnaki took his people, the Igigi, to the earth. They took the earth for themselves. Right here. And Elil took the earth for his people. Who are his people? The Igigi. Right here. The great Anunnaki made the Igigi. The Igigi are Elil's people. The boat which barred the sea was assigned to far-sighted Enki. When Anu had gone up to the sky and the gods of the Apsu had gone below, the Anunnaki of the sky made the Igigi bear the workload. Do not forget the Igigi. The gods had to dig out, so this is the work they had to do. The Igigi. The gods had to dig out. Remember, the Igigi are gods. The god, like Neteru, if you want to call them, right? The gods had to dig out canals, had to clear channels, the lifelines of the land. The gods dug out the Tigris, and then dug out the Tigris River, and then dug out the Euphrates. Okay? So according to the Sumerians, this is how the Tigris and the Euphrates came into being. It was dug out by the Igigi. You gotta know this. If you check in Allah's credentials, because he's the one that guided Noble Drew Ali, giving you that work, the 747 Quran. Okay? In the deep, they set up the Apsu of the land, inside it, raised its top of all the mountains. They were counting the years of loads. The Great Marsh, they were counting the years of loads. For 3,600 years, they bore the excess. Hard work, night and day. They groaned and blamed each other, grumbled over the masses of excavated soil, and then said, somebody said, let us confront our such and such, the Chamberlain, and get him ready to relieve us of our hard work. So somebody amongst the Igigi said, yo, we gotta confront. Here's the key word, confrontation. Somebody amongst the Igigi said they gotta confront the Anunnaki so that they can be relieved of their work. It says right here, it says, let us confront our something, the Chamberlain, and get him ready to relieve us of our hard work. Come, let us carry the Lord, the counselors, the warrior from his dwelling. Come, let us carry Elil, the counselor of gods, the warrior from his dwelling. In other words, the Igigi were talking about a revolt. Put it on me. In other words, the lesser gods were about to revolt against the greater gods, the Anunnaki, because they felt that they had been enslaved and they no longer wanted to serve them. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so they're talking about carrying the lords and the gods from their dwelling. In other words, you know, when they get a slave plantation and the slaves revolt, they go grab the slave master and carry him out the house and then do bad things to him. Well, that's what they were talking about doing here to the greater gods. Okay? Now let's find out who it was that was inciting the revolt. Let's find out who it was that's the rebellious voice amongst them. Uh-oh. The Adrahasis continue. Allah speaks his first words in history. Put that on me. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. This is the Adrahasis, written in the 17th century BCE. No Quran, no Bible, none of that stuff exists yet. And in 17th century BCE, you got Allah, the God Allah, speaking his very first words in history. Why? Because it's the first time that anybody named Allah is speaking words that are written down and committed to stone. I'm not making this up, people. This is in stone. It's the Adrahasis. Let's go back so I can show them the stone so they can think I'm making it up. There's the stone right there. WB.
Okay. Good talk. Let's talk about the stone that he's getting his information from. Okay. I have a stone and I have some information. And let's see if I can share it with you. But I hope those people there that's talking are listening to me right now, because I'm about to give them some information to help them out. Okay. Now, he says it's written in stone. Okay. Let's find it. Okay. In Egyptian pyramids, there is an utterance that's written in hieroglyphics, which was recently translated. Translation of hieroglyphics, it's not that old. It's 1963 when they were first able to translate hieroglyphics into English. Okay, there is they got them called sacred text, Egyptian utterance. It's called utterance. So if you go to the Egyptian text, you can Google it. You can follow me on Google, or you can Google up. You Google sacred Egyptian text, uh, 553. It's called 553 utterance. 563. Oh, okay. Thank you, brother. You back? Okay. I'll get back to this back later. Let me go ahead and talk to Mike. Get back with Matt. Okay, Matt. This guy here.
62 in the Ashmole.
Now he's saying that everything that he's saying is written in stone.
Or wood.
He said Allah said his first words in history. Let me.
Museum. Go look
Right here.
into the greater gods. Okay? Now let's find out who it was that was inciting the revolt. Let's find out who it was that's the rebellious voice amongst them. The Atrahasis continued. Allah speaks his first words in history. He's continued. Allah speaks his first words in history. Put that on me.
So now he's at the Aha station. Aha, you Muslims. This is the first words Allah said in Mesopotamia.
According to that.
According to the rock. The rock.
Oh, the rock.
The rock.
Oh.
Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. This is the After the Hadith, written in the 17th century BCE. No Quran, no Bible, none of that stuff exists yet. And in 17th century BCE, you got Allah, the God Allah, speaking his very first words in history. Why? Because it's the first time that anybody named Allah is speaking words that are written down and committed to stone. I'm not making this up, people. This is in stone. It's the After the Hadith. Let's go back so I can show them the stone so they can think I'm making it up. There's the stone right there, WB62 in the Ashmole Museum. Go look it, go read it. Go get a plane ticket, go to the Ashmole Museum, and I guess it's in Iraq, and go read the stone. Because it's right there. The After the Hadith is on there. I'm just reading you the translation by Stephanie Daly. There she is right there. It's in her book, which is the best, which is the most modern translation. And
now he's talking about the book, but he doesn't tell you he doesn't say the title of the book. You know, he's telling you, he's showing you this book, but he's not reading you the title. And the title says Myths from Mesopotamia. So he's showing you the rock that it came from. You missed some of the stuff he said. He said that the gods were tired of digging. And Allah, according to this guy, spoke up to the higher gods. He spoke up to them and said, look, we're tired of digging. I mean, who could come up with this kind of stuff where you actually you calling somebody God and he's digging a ditch for creation? So what they're trying to say is the world was created through different gods with shovels. Cutting this, we'll make a river there, do this here. This is how really absurd these people think. Look at the thinking. Many gods, and they all do got a job, and they're working. They got a job, they're working. So obviously it's not a god. Obviously it can't be a god. It's a person. So this story is about people that they deify, that they deify. I'm gonna continue.
It's the number one translation. Replace all other translations. See it? This text will replace all other translations.
So now you have a revision. Now the other text might have said something different, but now this is the new revision that has Allah's name in it. Okay? I don't know, something really, really flaky about that.
Fishy.
Yeah, because look, the guy says all that the higher gods had the lower gods shoveling the Euphrates River, and they were doing creation. So what he's trying to say is that all these different gods with shovels got out there and started digging for our creation, for the human. What he's saying? That's. I mean, I can't make this shit up, son. I can't do that. I mean, I'm going by what I comprehend.
So we got the best available text. Here it is right here. What does that say? It says, Adrastis continue. Allah speaks his first words in history.
Allah
so what are
speaks
they
his
doing?
first
They
words
get
in
ready to
history.
revolt. Right? See it right here? Come, let us carry the Lord, the counsel of gods, the warrior from his dwelling. Come, let us carry Elil, the counselor of gods, the warrior from his dwelling. So the Igigi are saying, let us carry Elil, who is an Anunnaki, from his...
I really hope this brother is listening to this video, Aki. I really hope he is. You know, because what he's saying is straight up, you know, astaghfirullah al-azim, man. It's straight up bullshit, bro. Straight up.
his dwelling. And then what happens? What did it say? I'm going to give you the privilege of reading it for the first time. What did that say? It says, then Allah made his voice heard and spoke to the gods, his brothers. Hey, yo, don't the Muslims always say that the Egyptians had many gods, that's why they were pagans? Well, guess what? Allah had brothers. Look, it's right there. Then Allah made his voice heard and spoke to the gods, his brothers. Why y'all never mention that? Yo, bring that over here. Hold up.
Yeah, why y'all never mention that Allah got brothers?
Okay, but let's go here, right? Another thing. Remember we was talking about that myth shit, right?
Yes.
Atrahasis, that's where they reading from, right?
Right.
Romanized is an 18th century BCE Akkadian epic recorded in various versions on clay tablets, like you said, stones, named for its protagonist, Atrahasis, exceedingly wise. The Atrahasis tablets include both a creation myth and one of 3 surviving Babylonian flood myths. So he's reading, like you said, something that's like whatever he's reading. This is the basis of it.
Okay. Very good. Very good, Aki. Very good.
It's weird, but you know, also see, look on the right hand side.
Yes. Yeah. I see. You know, those are idols and worship and pictures and images. You know, and you know what he said? It's written in stone. No. So we've been lying to the people, bro. We didn't tell the people that Allah had a father and had brothers and all that stuff.
Yeah, they made this shit up. This is a theory.
Otra Hasis. That's right. That's right. And the way he speaks it is like he think he's speaking facts. So he could easily trick the audience and make them think that this is something real. This is why I'm saying this. This is why I'm talking and I'm stepping up to him. You know, you got to know the difference between what's real and what's not real. And don't try to project something that's not real as real. That's why I said he's selling fake jewelry.
Yeah, slum.
He's selling slit on, bit on.
Yeah, he got that slit on.
We almost finished, Aki. Okay.
All right. Now, take your time, brother.
Hey, yo, hold up. Hey, yo, doctor. Yeah, I thought Allah didn't have no partners. Apparently, he got brothers. You're hiding that from us. It's in the stone, baby.
In the stone,
It's in
baby.
the stone. The stone that's older than your Quran, older than any of that stuff you're talking about. 17th century BCE. Okay? Here you go. Then Allah. Now, Ali Muhammad, Wesley Muhammad, Imam Bashir, Ali Bey, Lord Abba, right? I said it. In order for you to trump me, you got to show me. You got to show me in stone.
Okay, it's time for me to pull out the big joker.
All right.
Okay, you hear what he just said? It's in stone. Trump me. Okay. If we go to the utterance, sacred Egyptian utterance written in the pyramids, utterance 553, what it says, 553 verse 1365c of Egyptian text hieroglyphics. Okay? The sky weeps for thee, the earth trembles for thee, trembles for thee. All right, this is written in stone. This is the stone. He said, talking about stone. Hey, Shakka, Shakka. Google it. Find 553 in the Egyptian text and go to 1365c in your hieroglyphics. It's written in stone. Written in stone. It says, the sky weeps for thee, the earth trembles for thee. Okay? This is what it says. Now, I'm going to tell you what Quran says in rebuttal to that. In rebuttal. Quran 44, verse 29. Anybody in the audience, you have a Quran, look it up. Anybody have Google, look up utterance 553, look it up. You know, so you're following me. I'm not, I'm just not blowing smoke up your ass or anything like that. Just look it up, Google it. You can, it's easy to find. Okay, so we got the utterance 355. What is it? 355? 553. Utterance 553, verse 1365c. I'm gonna give you a little time to find it on Google and see what it says. Okay, now, if you got a Quran, you don't need a Quran, you can do it through Google also. You go to chapter 44, verse 29. And this is what Allah says about the Pharaoh. Why does Allah say, and the heaven and the earth wept not for them, Pharaoh and his soldiers who drowned?
Stop right there. So it's saying so far that why is it that there was no tears for these dudes when that happened?
Why?
No, I just wanted to clarify that first thing.
Well, you know, this was the tafsir. Actually, what it says, 44:29 says, neither heaven nor earth wept over them, nor was their fate delayed.
That's what I'm saying.
Different translation. But it also, but it's saying the earth and the heaven didn't cry for you. But then the utterance that was written by the Egyptians in hieroglyphics says that the earth, the heaven cried for you, and the earth trembled for you. But Allah says no, it didn't. And to prove that this is a miracle, hieroglyphics were not able to be translated to 1963.
Yeah, we discussed that the other day, man. That's a very good thing. So how would you know hieroglyphics if the translation wasn't discovered until after your so-called religion started?
Because Allah knows all things. Allah knows everything.
Once you're done, I do want to play the thing where he says that Islam is man-made.
Go ahead, shoot it. You can play it now.
Whether you be Hebrew, whether you be Islamic, whether you be Christian, and the reason I say that is because the fundamentalism in your religion puts you at odds with the rest of humanity. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because if the rest of the humanity makes a collective decision to think with their brains and to let...
Now, if you want me to stop, let me know. But I put it on mute because there's a sound in your background. So unmute yourself when you're going to speak. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Is that makeup, man? Is that the kind of rouge or something like that?
He definitely got eyeshadow on, a lot of blush going on here.
I've finished.
A lot of blush. He's blushed. He's flushed. with blush.
The facts and the evidence have the last words. The religious people are going to become a minority on the planet.
Nah, you know what? He looked like, my bad. I'm sorry, Aki. He looked like the nigga from the Boondocks, Gangstalicious. That was the nigga that they used to wear the purse and all that. Because when you wear women's clothes, you gotta expect this type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
You understand what I'm saying? And when you become a minority on the planet, then you're gonna have to be even more defensive, even more violent.
Do you want to go on? Do you want to go into it right now? Just a little sample of where Islam come from?
Oh.
Or you want to reserve that? You want to hold that in?
Oh.
You want to save some of that probably for next part 2 or something? Because we go on that.
Why is that braid on the side of his head?
The person who...
Let me just say, you know what type of commitment you gotta have to have a fucking ponytail hanging from the side of your face? That looks crazy. And even if they did dress like that, what the fuck that got to do with how you dress in a day? Especially in America. They were...
There's a gentleman. I'm not going to name his name.
Islam was man-made.
Let me just say this. Let me say this. There's a gentleman who wrote a book telling the truth about where Islam came from. I'm not going to name his name. There might be some people out there who know him.
Mm-hmm.
When he decided to talk about it, they had to put him behind a curtain so he wouldn't show his face.
Damn.
Now that's sad. When you belong to a religion that makes people fear you so much that they can't even share with you a truth that they dedicated their lives to uncovering.
I know you want to say something about that.
Because the person who holds onto the religious ideology does not put truth first. They put their religion first. So that therefore their religion does not have to be truthful.
Right, but listen, when you say you don't want to say his name, how can the people look him up and get that information?
Well, the reason I don't want to say his name,
want to look him up and get that information.
The reason I don't want to say his name yet, they're gonna find out his name at the debate. The reason I don't want to say his name is because
you want to say that.
You know, I mean, and not only that, me just saying what I say about the guy hiding behind the veil. There's certain people out there who already gonna know who I'm speaking about. If they study this subject matter like I do, they already know who I'm speaking about. You know, and I think it's really unfortunate that that man should be able to go to Mecca and sit in front of the Kaaba and talk to Muslims and say, look, and as a matter of fact, I really have a respect for this one Muslim scholar, and I can't remember his name, but he's in Europe. And he said something I never thought I would hear a Muslim say. He said, we should not make people afraid or fearful to engage us with debate about any facts or evidence they come across that refutes or challenges our worldview. We should invite...
Nah, we should invite them, but that's a trick. That's a trick. That's a trick. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, you niggas be like, they're like disrespecting Islam. You don't want to engage in debate. You want to be like the Israelites standing on 125th Street telling white people to lick the bottom of my boot. That's what you really want to do. You want to disrespect. You want to call it Rasul. You want to call our prophet a pedophile and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And then we supposed to allow you to engage us at the Kaaba, which is one of our probably our holiest place to be. You want to go to our Kaaba while we doing religious practices, going around this Kaaba. You know what I'm saying? You know, worshiping God. And that moment, y'all want to come where we at and debate at a peaceful event. It's so crazy how these evil motherfuckers out here, even violent sometimes, right? Like to accuse the Muslims of all of these atrocities, you know what I'm saying? And then complain that they don't have a platform to debate us.
You know, it's okay to say what you want to say if it's truthful. Yeah. But if you make it slander and you straight up being deceptive, that's a different story. Yeah, you got the right to ask questions and say whatever you want to say, but don't be deceptive and don't lie. You know, because okay, you want to say Islam is a man-made religion, okay, you can say it, whatever you want to say is up to you. But the fact of the matter is, Prophet Muhammad was real. They can't deny that.
Yeah, and
they can't deny the many miracles of the Quran, the mathematical. You know, if we understood better mathematical miracles, the linguistic miracle, all these niggas that be up here talking all that shit about Islam don't even pick up the Quran to read for themselves.
All right, check it out. Let me
We
finish.
don't.
That kind of debate, because it will either make us stronger in what it is that we have to prove. It'll give the world, it'll give us a platform to share our views about our correctness with the world. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, it's a win-win situation. When you have people who want to hurt you and harm you because you call their ideology into question, they represent a very dangerous segment of humanity, because they're about thought control. They're not about truth. They're not about facts. They're not about evidence. They're not about, to me, and if you believe God is truth, no matter what name you call him or her, if you believe God is truth above all else, how dare you make someone be in fear of telling the truth? Whether you agree with that.
So that means that if we disagree with somebody with something you say, you're in fear of us. But we have to accept everything that you say about us when you can't accept nothing we say. When does these debates lead to anything violent? This shit is propaganda. You know what
I
I'm saying?
very, I very disrespectful.
Disrespectful as fuck.
Very
They get
disrespectful.
and look strategic, disrespectful, and intent because they go. You know what happens? They like to throw rocks and hide their hand. They like to poke at sensitive topics and things that we hold as sacredly religiously sacred, right? And they want to go for those things in particular to try to disrespect. So it's almost like a troll. Think about like these internet trolls. If you show them that you care about something, what do? They attack it. You feel me? As opposed to the intent is not to change your mind about something or teach you truth. The intent is to attack. That's it. Even they debates.
Or not, whether you find that truth insulting or not. How dare you associate yourself with God?
Now you see what I'm saying? Whether you find that truth, look. Let me explain something, right? Truth. What y'all talking about is facts. Facts is not always truth. Opinions is not truth. And facts is not always true. Do you understand what I'm saying? So just because you provide a fact, a lot of facts are surrounded by lies. A lot of things that you do, you could cover yourself. You could take one fact and cover it with a bunch of fucking lies. But when you say that, even if you find it disrespectful, why would I continue listening to you if I find something that you saying offensive to me? When our rules of engagement is to always be polite, to always be courteous of the person that we're speaking to. So what the fuck is these niggas talking about?
You have no right. You advocated the right to do that. Me, I look forward to the day that someone like myself or someone like the author I named could sit in a room full of Muslims, Christians, and Hebrews and have a.
It's not gonna happen with a nigga like you. I've read many books where brothers sat together. I've read books where the Shiites sat down with the Sunnis, you know what I'm saying? And really debate each other, you know what I'm saying? Without nothing happening or any. So this shit right here is propaganda. When the last big fight y'all heard happened because a Muslim didn't like what some nigga was saying about his religion?
I mean, if we were like we was back in the days, they wouldn't be talking like that. Because I see this guy, he talking about Farrakhan, he talking about this guy, he talking about that guy, and I believe back in the days, you know what? They don't even worry about this guy. I think that's why they ignore him. I think I'm the only sucker that's out here pay this nigga some mind. Because I think the other people that he be mentioning don't even pay him no mind. They be like, this nigga's dude, you messed up. But I ain't gonna let him talk about Islam like that.
No, go ahead. You know what? This is this word semantics and also a lot of
Yes,
propaganda. This is when you saying that, well, why can't we talk to you? Nigga, you're talking right now. Motherfucker, ain't nothing happening to you. You know what I'm saying? You're talking. And in fact, every time I hear this nigga here, speak about Islam or Allah, he's disrespected. When I just finished saying that the rules of engagement for us is always grounded in love. You know what I'm saying? And worst case scenario, you walk away. What you think? A fucking Arab is gonna pull a fucking machete out and chop your head off if you don't agree with him? What the fuck? What history books have y'all been reading? Our religion is based in love. You know what I'm saying? Not none of
and
that else.
peace.
Yeah, in peace.
And say, well,
Sakina.
look, this is why I agree with you because this evidence says this. And then they can confront that evidence and says, well, you know what? Maybe you're interpreting that evidence in a way that says that, but we interpret it this way.
That's
At
what we
least at
doing.
that point, I can say, well, you know what? I have to respect the fact that you choose to interpret that evidence that way, even though I disagree with it. That's where respect comes in. Because
so you saying that basically you saying that if I do what you want me to do, then now you can respect me. So instead of saying, what we've been saying, which is, our interpretation of what you're talking about is this. Y'all can't accept that, nigga. The fuck is you talking about that you it will be some respect there? There's no respect from your intent. See, if your intent is wrong, in Islam, we highly based in intent. Allah judges you based on your intent, but it also says the road to hell is paved with great intent, good intent. You understand me? But we are based off of intent. So if your intent from the inception is to attack and hurt somebody, how the fuck you think that? What do you think the reception will be from anybody? Well, let's mark Muslims out of it. Let's say you're talking to people that's Israelite. Like what's your rules of engagement for them? Long as we submit to what the fuck you saying. Y'all also the same niggas talking about a woman is God. You also you also niggas that like to dress up like that, and I'm focusing on that. You wanna know why? Because a lot of this shit that they be talking about when these niggas get into them books, I start to see mental illness develop. You know what I mean? With these so-called smart ones. And that's why you see Pharaoh, doing the same exact thing. That's why you see Polite doing the same exact thing. All these niggas is putting tattoos on their face. You know what I'm saying? Robbing the people, talking some incest shit, talking some, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't understand if that's what your ideology and way of life follows. How the fuck could you set the rule? How could you set grounds for respect when your intent is all fucked up from the beginning?
And they're in war for the souls of the black people. That's their struggle is to save the black people, to give them that shit that they do.
What I see is a bunch of motherfucking. What I see is a bunch of con men. What I see is a bunch of clear evidences from when the law speaks about these people. You gotta understand. There's not that many people that are forsaken in the Quran like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not the law doesn't speak about a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Just fucked up by nature. You got the Sodom and Gomorrahs. You got you know what I mean? You got a few notable stories in there, but nothing is more notable and foul than the Pharaoh. And this is what they choose to follow.
That's
nothing
true.
more despicable than the Pharaoh.
Pharaoh was grimy, dude. He was grimy. I told you he had children for his daughters. You know what I'm saying? He oppressed the Israelites. Aki, there's a man that has a lot of knowledge. This guy. Sound like he got a lot of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't do shit. Then you got another man that got a little bit of knowledge and do great things. Look at Malcolm. Look at Malcolm X. For the time that he was alive and to the time for today, these days today, most Muslims, we have a lot of knowledge about Islam. We know how to pray. We know how to Malcolm didn't get a chance to learn all that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So he didn't have that much knowledge like we do, as far as Islam goes.
Yeah.
But the little bit that he did have, he did great things with it.
Mm.
These cats, they sound like they're so smart, and they use words to try to they twist words. They like to grab abstract ideas and ask you questions about it. We have nothing to do with the conversation. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of cats that we're dealing with these guys. And you know what, Aki, for real?
That's him.
No. Nah. What? Wait a minute. No, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't, son.
Yes,
oh, no,
did.
You didn't.
Child.
Ah!
He got a whole body suit on. Stop playing with me.
No. Not Shakka.
Shaka Zulu.
Damn. Okay. Hey, so now we're looking at this guy. He's supposed to be a savior for the black people. You in trouble, son. Y'all in trouble.
Listen, he gonna have y'all dressing like Janet Jackson out this bitch.
Yo, if this nigga here is the leader for the black people, y'all in trouble.
Control.
Y'all in trouble. I gave him the Stone number. You need to look that up and Google it. This is facts. These are facts. As you can see it, it's written in stone, and the reply that nobody knew at the time the Quran was revealed. Nobody knew hieroglyphics. Nobody. You know, if these people are smart, they'll know that. But they're not. Yeah, homeboy. You ain't gonna max out like that, though, son.
Different.
Damn.
You
You need to show. You need to show me that. Yo, son. But I hope the brother listening to. Man.
Come on, brother. If he listen, yo, nigga, you better start putting some pants on.
If he listening, you know what? I just gave them some concrete proof, written in hieroglyphics, and I might be the esophagus of Ramses II, with the rebuttal from Quran, and Quran was revealed after, but nobody knew how to read hieroglyphics until 1963.
Hold on, let's finish listening to this nigga here.
Mind, there was no fear. Nobody was trying to instill fear in someone. Nobody was saying, you know,
propaganda.
If you keep talking, I heard somebody.
I'm gonna mute you up until you speak, brother.
Call into his talk show. These two Christian brothers were talking about Islam, and they were breaking down the Quran. And all of the Muslims called in and said, "You're going to start a World War III because you're inciting us to violence." You have to take responsibility, number one, for your own emotions and for your own willingness to perpetrate violence on other people. You can't blame that on someone. Nobody can make you violent. Somebody makes you violent if they come to rape your woman, your children, take your resources, invade your land.
Or make you wear a dress.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you something. And I could probably get in trouble for saying this, I have no qualms against Muslims who feel that they have every right to protect their land. Why? Because as an American, I know, and not that I actually call myself an American, right, but you know what I mean. As someone born and raised in America, even though I may not be the most patriotic person in the world, if we were invaded by another country who sought to impose their will over us, I would lock arms with any and every American seeking to keep that from happening.
Even Egypt,
be they African, be they Irish, I don't care, be they Arabic or Arab.
What about Egyptian?
You understand what I'm saying? Even if they were Muslim, okay, it wouldn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be here in a place where we can share our views. You understand what I'm saying? Who wants to go back to the so-called dark? If you say I'm gonna kill this person because this person said Allah doesn't exist, or Allah is false, or Islam is false, and therefore I have to kill you, or I have to hurt you, I have to harm you.
So let me ask you,
have no relationship to God.
Where do Islam come from?
You just want to push. I can tell you where it doesn't come from.
Where at?
Africa.
Wow.
It doesn't come from Africa.
That right there busts up the claim of Dr. Ali.
Wesley Muhammad. I know.
Muhammad all the
it
way.
doesn't come from Africa.
Wow.
Okay. He's going to show you little bits and pieces of things that can be found from Arab culture that are in Islam, and therefore try to extrapolate from that Islam comes from Africa. That's false. I'm not that stupid. I'm not that person.
Right.
You understand? You can do that to somebody who needs to believe that.
Did you see the debate with Dr. Wesley and Nasser Tahoudi?
I don't think I did.
Oh, you got to go online.
I have to go online and see
and
that.
The topic is...
Oh, wait a minute. From what I understand, I think Nasser Tahoudi didn't perform too well, and that was the general outcome of it.
Right.
Somewhat similar with and I'll say it, I'm not ashamed to talk about it.
Right.
I love him dearly. Somewhat similar to what occurred with Dr. Ray Hagan and Wesley. Yeah, there seems to be this pattern of
gayness,
of a hesitation or an anxiousness to debate Islamic scholars, and I'm going to tell you why. The number one reason is the very first thing I just finished talking about, and that's why I spoke about it at length. It's fear.
Right.
It's fear of reprisal because of religious fundamentalists. Nobody wants to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to be walking down the street and some religious nut looks at me and says, "Oh, that's the guy that's trying to shit on my religion."
Right.
And I mean, come on, dude. It's conversation. We got human brains. Allah gave us a brain so we could think. Jesus gave us a brain so we could think. Atum, whatever you want to call him. I don't care whatever you want to call him. Give us a brain so we could think. If that part is not in your book, Throw it away. Because whoever gave it to you to control your thinking. And your thinking and your breathing are the two greatest gifts you were given. You don't advocate that for nobody. Because then you're not free. You're living in modern times still enslaved. Because somebody told you to think this. And then they gave you poor platforms of proof and evidence, pseudo evidence, that you ran with. And now that somebody had the real evidence to say, look, here's why you're wrong. Don't argue with me. Okay? I didn't create the evidence. All I'm doing is introducing you to it.
People, anybody that speaks against God or religion or the presence of God, I always think about that person as somebody that's not ready to accept that you're gonna be judged for your actions. It
No,
feels
you know. I'm
it feels
sorry.
like sometimes that the person feel like their actions are so fucked up that they have to find something where they're not being held accountable. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if I could kill niggas, I could do whatever I want, but then I can create an ideology for myself to believe that God don't even exist. I'm God or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or an idol is God. There's nobody to be held accountable to. So I feel like it's because of that nature. That right there creates that nature of that type of person.
He's trying to say that religion controls people, you know, but in reality, somebody controlling him. Everybody's under control. Whether I mean, if he can't go around and kill anybody he wants. So somebody's in control. So for him to say that religion is only good to control people, he's being a hypocrite because he can't do whatever he wants. He's still got to be under control. So that's that bullshit argument they come up with about religion. Say, oh, religion is just used to control man. But you be in control, one way or another.
I'm finished playing.
That's it. I'll let you make up your own mind. See, that's the difference between myself and a religious fundamentalist. When Bashir goes in there, his job is going to be to convince the people of what he is going to expound upon concerning the Quran and Islam. Okay? My job is not to convince the people of anything. My job is to introduce them to the evidence and allow the evidence or allow them to convince themselves. That's true freedom. When you're given the opportunity and the luxury of convincing yourself, then you can say, I'm free. I made an informed choice based on the evidence that was presented to me. If that wasn't your protocol and you were just born into a religion, you don't know the first thing about being free.
This is going to be powerful because you are on the undercard. You and Brother Bashir going in.
Oh, the other thing.
Hold up. To open up for Brother Polite and ISUPK Hebrew Israelites.
Right.
Before that, it's going to be you and Brother Bashir.
Can I do both? Can Polite take a break?
Oh, man, that would be powerful.
Let Polite take a break. Let Polite sit this one out. I'll do both of them. First I'll deal with Bashir and then I'll deal with the Hebrew Israelites.
Oh man, that'll be powerful right there.
Absolutely. That's my brother. I love that brother.
Right.
You know?
And we ain't saying we don't love you.
And IBUK, that's my brother and Bashir's my brother. There's no question about it. If Bashir called me up and said, yo, I got some kind of beef and I'm by myself, I'm like, well, what I'm gonna do? I can't say no, that's my brother. He's calling me for help. I gotta go. Right. That's what we gotta see and understand. There's no book that anybody gives us that should keep us from coming to each other's aid. No book. I don't care if you're a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. I don't care if you're a Hebrew Israelite. I know if I see a black Hebrew Israelite getting beat down by a group of people who are not from amongst our own, that's not happening. That's not going to happen. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to assist my brother, vehemently so, because it's only right. You know what I mean? And don't be surprised if people who are not black might come over and help him out. Right. Because there are some people who are really just concerned with right and wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Right. There's some people who are really just concerned with right and wrong. I'm gonna leave you with this one last thing because I know you might want to go to something else, but a lot of people are under the impression that when we talk about Arabs making war on Africa, they like to tell you that that was a race thing, and that because it was the later Turkish and Persian or Iranian Arabs who actually perpetrated that once they hijacked Islam, right? They want you to think, okay, black Arabs good, white Arabs bad, right? But what you have to understand is that a lot of those wars that took place a lot of them were not racial wars. So don't think that just because Arabs made war on African culture and African religion, that automatically meant that it had to be the white Arabs who took over after the Abbasids or during the Abbasids. Okay? A lot of these wars were religious wars. You understand? A lot of them were religious wars. So the mere fact that Arabia was black is no proof or fact of the matter that black Muslims did not wage religious war on indigenous Africans.
Let me interject right quick.
There's a book that Dr. John Henry Clark wrote the foreword to, and it's called The Arab Invasion of Egypt. From the Roman era to I forget to what period, but the very first line in the book on page 1. Now this is not my words. I'm just referencing a scholar. It's written by Alfred E. Butler, by the way. It's written by Alfred E. Butler. I think it was published in 1902. And Dr. John Henry Clark wrote the foreword for its republication. And on the very first page, it says, Islam entered Africa through Egypt. When a particular Islamic army came in to take away control from Byzantine rule in Africa, in Egypt, in North Africa. They came in as a military. Okay? Alexander came in with a military. He didn't come in committing war on Egyptians. He came in to get the Persians off the Egyptians back. But what did they do when they stayed? What did the Greeks do when they stayed in Egypt? They didn't come in fighting and beating up the Egyptians. They didn't come in with violence toward the Egyptians. But look what they did when they stayed. They created the Ptolemaic Empire, or the Ptolemaic dynasties, right? In which black people in Africa for the second time experienced, or maybe the third time, experienced Jim Crow law. Because they experienced Jim Crow law under the group that we now designate as the Hyksos in the Second Intermediate Period. African people experienced Jim Crow law on their land under the Assyrians, when the Assyrians came in. And African people experienced Jim Crow law on their own land under the Persians. If such an invasion ever took place, because one of my scholars who I subscribe to, which is the work of Walter Williams, he posits that no such thing as Persians ever existed. I can't co-sign that, only because I haven't seen the documentation that would ameliorate or that would alleviate me of that worldview.
All right.
He sounds smart, but he ain't doing nothing with it. You know, he should come to Islam and help us, because the history already shows that most of the slaves that came here from Africa, they were already Muslims. You know, you don't need to go back 2,000 years. Just go back 800 years. You know, these you know, they're really not helping. They're really not helping the people. You know, Allah have mercy on them, and may Allah give them guidance, because they don't have nothing. They don't have nothing. At least we're armed with Quran. You know, at least we're armed. They got nothing. They got nothing to teach the people. That's why I feel sorry for especially Sanetta. Sanetta be out there acting like a weasel sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You know, he should have a little more respect. Ese plátano, taguillao. I know he's Dominican too.
What does he represent?
He's with the Kemetic movement, or he's with anybody that's against Islam. That's Sanetta at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? He could tolerate the Black Hebrew Israelites. He could tolerate them, and when you see when Shakka talks, he be the main groupie. He'd be the main groupie.
Or Captain Cesaria.
Yeah, well, Captain Cesaria, and he came up with a nice thing on Shakka the other day. Shut Shakka down.
Oh, the Cap. Let me pull that up real quick.
Cap shut him down. You know, I can relate to the Hebrew Israelites because they don't have a hope. They don't worship God. They don't believe in idols. They monotheistic. They Abrahamic. I can relate to them. You know, I can relate to some Christian people too. But Christian people, they worship Jesus, and that's a no-no. Aki, do you know a Jew can go into a mosque before he can go into a church?
Hold up for a second, Aki.
Hang out with me. You ain't gotta say I love you, son. But business is different. And see, that's how Dominicans run. If you go on Broadway, you come to New York, and you'll see how Broadway got the whole shit locked down with Dominican businesses, brother. All of them, they run Broadway, and they run further uptown. When you go way uptown on 160 something street, they got nothing but businesses. Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. We ain't got shit because when we get mad at each other, we don't want to do business with them, and we run away from her, and that's fucked up.
Yeah, it is, and that's the sad part, man. But I'm telling y'all, listen, I know from experience that I've been working since I've had my business. I've paid Sarnetta with commercials,
Right.
And when I tell you, him playing the commercials increase my business every time. I get sales every time we play the commercial, get consistency, all that. Y'all better take advantage. I'm taking advantage. The shit helped me. Part of that is because I promote with Sarnetta. So y'all better get with it. That's my advice.
Right. Thank you, man. Let me see if my dog is working, man.
That's what. Yeah. When y'all business
Can y'all hear that? Yeah, go ahead.
When y'all business don't pick up, when y'all business ain't making sales and you wonder why black people ain't supporting, you got to think about who you support. And you better support black to get push black. That's all.
Hey, yo, man. Hey, brother. There's a few people saying One West is looking weak out here in these streets. Folky came through and cleaned the block up. What are you going to do? Are you going to reply to it? Are you going to send out Captain Katazar, let him destroy it? Or what? How are you going to debunk that? Because they came in with some powerful information.
I think did they say the tribe of Ephraim is not a tribe? It's about the tribe of Joseph?
I don't know. I don't recall. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't listen to no wrong information.
No problem.
But I will tell you, it's going to be hard to debunk their information, brother. They showed the Bible. They showed the scriptures. Hey, Captain, man, you laughing, brother? You laughing? You got to come out and debunk this.
Listen, those niggas is dumb. I tell you, listen, no, I would have to watch it first. But if from what I heard they said about Ephraim, if they said what they said, they real stupid. I could beat them in the Old Testament and New Testament. It would be shameful on their part.
Man,
well, I tell you what, the only thing I'll say is I was talking to Katazar. Katazar made an excellent point. If they getting rid of the 12 tribe chart that we say, like for example, they say our 12 tribe is false, then they would also, as their so-called, and this ain't just FOP, it's anybody, as they're so-called debunking what we say our chart is, they would in turn have to give a replacement. So if they say the 12 tribes is not our chart, then who are the 12 tribes of Israel? Who are the Reubenites?
So, Captain, when you go into Tobit, I wrote these scriptures down. That gives me some power. I wrote down Tobit 4:12, and it breaks down.
It said, beware of all whoredom and marry a woman after your tribe.
Oh, you know about that. All right, see? So
nigga, I know. Listen,
but when you go into Numbers, it breaks down who the 12 tribes are, Captain. And it's not the 12 tribes that's on that 12 tribe chart. How do you get around that? If the Bible is saying these are our 12 tribes right here, how do you get around that?
I'm gonna show you, right? So like they utilize Joseph. Because Joseph had two sons. Joseph had Ephraim and Manasseh. Those are his two sons. So I'm gonna just read one. So just so you know about
I'm gonna get that look on my own. We approaching the 2 hour mark. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got the brother Islam Salaam here. You know what I'm saying with me. We gonna be doing this show, man. We gonna build an audience for this type of stuff. So when we hear something that might not be correct, we got a platform where we could address it at least. You know what I'm saying? And not be interrupted. You know what I mean? Or imposing what y'all believe on what we believe. You know what I'm saying? So we extend that courtesy to other people too. Like soon, hopefully, like Islam will be open up the panel. So matter of fact, can we open the panel now just in case somebody want to ask questions?
Yeah. I did want to finish this up over here, but we could do that. We could do that. We could close it
Right.
up with that.
Yeah, but I mean, today is Sunday. I mean, we could pull another show same time on Tuesday.
Absolutely, brother. You my brother,
Let me see
and
wait, Tuesday.
whatever you want.
No, Wednesday. Wednesday is the day. Wednesday is the day. So
Wednesday,
yeah, Wednesday. Does Wednesday work?
Wednesday night.
What time?
It's gonna have to be late. It's gonna be at least 8 o'clock your time.
8 o'clock my time. So okay,
Yeah,
yeah, eight
it
to
has to
ten.
be. Something like that. Something like that'd be cool. But go ahead, let him up. Let him up. Let's let him up. Let him ask some
Yeah.
questions.
No, the link is there. You continue with your speech.
Okay. I want to hurry up and finish this guy off.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
I gave my evidence. I gave my evidence on the stone. He gave his stone. He called it a trump. Okay, I threw my trump. Now what they need to do is do the research on it to see if I'm saying it's right or it's wrong. Because I inshallah, I'm gonna try my best not to give nobody no misinformation. Because
That's right.
I don't want nobody to come back at me saying, man, you be bullshit lying. I don't want to be like that. I want to try to be as honest as possible and let Quran speak for itself. I can't, I can show it to you, but you have to accept it or reject it. I can only show it. So I'm going to finish this guy off because I want you to see what he did. I want you to see what he did.
Right.
Try to throw you. You know what you were saying? He throw a little bit of facts and the rest of the lies all around it.
Yeah.
This is what this cat did. When he started trying to use linguistics and tried to use phonetics to because he don't say Allah's name properly anyway. He said Allah. There's like 3 or 4 Allah in Islam. You know when you put your head on the ground, Subhanahu Rabbi Allah, Subhanahu Rabbi Allah. That's Allah. Then you got Allah.
Absolute.
Allah, when you got the H at the end when you give it the Ha. Allah. And then you got Allah. It's 3 different Allah. So if you know in Arabic, if you say something wrong, if you say a word wrong, you change its meaning. You could change its meaning. So this guy doesn't say Allah's name properly. So maybe somebody did take that name Allah and used it for that fairy tale.
I feel like that's it. I feel like he uses that to disrespect Islam.
Yeah, well, he definitely is an op against Islam, definitely. But inshallah, we show better.
He knows how to say Allah, but he refuses to do it.
So he's saying it funny on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, how old that brother is about?
He look about 40.
He's in his 40s. He should know. He's from New York.
Yeah.
He should know more about Islam than the average person in the United States, man. He's from New York. New York, Muslims be running shit sometimes in some places, He should know better than that. He should know better than that, but he believe in that paganism. And people going to believe whatever they want to believe, man. So, inshallah, all the thing we could do is say a good word to him, say, man, Allah touch your heart and change you and make you an Islamic person. Or at least have more respect for Islam. Because I remember back in the days, in the 80s, the Comedics and the black and African consciousness people and the Muslims, they used to work together. There was never no videos, the Comedics making videos against the Muslims. It was never nothing like that, but they had no phones. But they didn't, they got along with each other because they felt that they had a common cause to uplift the black people. That's how they felt. But you know, Dr. York came up with some, you know. So I want to finish this. I want you to see this last thing, and I'm gonna shut this guy off because I don't want to see this video no more. I'm done with it. I've been watching it so I can have a little bit of feedback from you or have something to build on. But once this is done, I ain't want to look at this video no more because this guy, the way he tried to manipulate, is disgusting. And he, like I said, he'll use a little bit of facts and then cover it up with a whole bunch of bullshit. Okay.
Such and such. And Lil made his voice heard and spoke to the vision. New school, new school. New school, open your door. Take up your weapons and stand before me. In the assembly of all the gods. Bow, then stand and tell.
Okay. This guy's saying
They don't want to know
earlier
they just want to
that all the gods came together with shovels to cut rivers to make the earth. You hear that?
Yeah.
He said that they had the higher gods and the lower gods, and the lower gods got tired of digging, shoveling, and cleaning, and making the earth. But that's what they do. They were building the earth, cutting the ditches to make rivers and stuff. So then that's when they created man. If that is the most cockamamie story you ever heard in your life, bro.
Now I heard some worse ones from them cats.
Man, I mean, gods coming down to earth with shovels and working like slaves. Then they got tired, and Allah spoke up and said, "We don't want to do this no more. Let the man do it." I mean, you know that's some real fantasy shit.
Wa alaikum assalam to Allah barakatuh. Ahmose.
I'm gonna finish it up right now. I'm going fast forwarding it to the end. I just want you to see what he did right here. Okay, so now we all agree that the book that he's using is a myth.
He got a what the hell is he wearing?
Huh?
No, I was just looking at his dress. I mean his shirt.
You know, we already agree. I hope everybody agree that the book that he's using it's a myth. You know, it's like a story. I could tell 1,000 stories. Now we see the book. It's called Seven Created Females and Seven Created Males. This is the origin of life of everybody else. But they all have a different story. Almost finished. This is going to be the last part right here. Now I want you what? Okay, you see this guy? He says the guy's name is Dr. Allah El-Gibani. Okay, he used this guy. He uses this guy. He is the highest authority in the Arabic language. He uses this guy. But for no purpose. For no purpose. Has nothing to do with the subject in hand. But because the guy has credentials, he's using the credentials to back up what he's saying. But it has nothing to do with the conversation at hand.
Okay, well, let me hear it.
University of Cairo and a doctorate in general linguistics from the University of Pittsburgh. He taught at sites of Johns Hopkins, UC Berkeley, Kuwait University, Ain Shams University, AUC, the American University of Beirut, and the University of Maryland at College Park. El-Gibali is the author of several seminal publications, including what? Arabic as a First Language, a study in language acquisition and development, 2003. He has also edited a number of important volumes, including Understanding Arabic, 96, Investigating Arabic, 2004, and is the associate editor of the 4th-volume Encyclopedia of Arabic Language and Linguistics. El-Ghibali served as executive director of the Center for Arabic Studies, director of the TAFL program at AUC, and acting director of the Arabic Language Institute, and co-director of CASA. Current research agenda include K-12 Arabic, advanced language proficiency, and the development of standards for acquisition and testing. In other words, this man knows more about Arabic than every fool that's going to get on his chat room and comment. He knows more about Arabic than Ali Muhammad, yes. Know more about Arabic than Wesley Muhammad, yes. Know more about Arabic than all the rest of these fools talking all that yang. This man is the go-to man if you're trying to understand Arabic. Okay? That's who you go to. Here you go. His book, Understanding Arabic, Essays in Contemporary Arabic Linguistics, in honor of El Said Badawi, edited by El-Ghibali. Now remember, you said Allah is only spelled A-L-L-A-H, the way you spell it. Well, we're going to see. The pattern of settlement, okay, secular Arabic and the Maltese language. You ever heard of secular Arabic? You ever heard of the Maltese language? You ever heard of Malta? Number love. Okay? Okay. Good, it's almost done. All right? The pattern of settlement, here it goes. The pattern of settlement in Sicily in the beginning of the Islamic conquest in the early 9th century was not a matter of migratory movement, but strictly a military operation. The armies formed garrison towns and their men married local Christian and Jewish women, as was the pattern with the first Islamic conquest in the East. Details of the operation in Sicily are unclear. It is assumed at first the local Christian peasants were left to work on the land and harvest their crops. Most of the original Christian population became Islamicized. It was only when the Islamic conquest was completed in 831 that the Muslim families of the troops migrated from North Africa. Having an impact on the natives over the years to come, there is a large inventory of secular Arabic agricultural terminology that testifies to the social and economic impact. What this means, people, is that African families who spoke Arabic migrated to Sicily. You know Italy, Sicily? They migrated to Sicily in the 9th century AD, and Arabic became the language of the Christian and Jewish population in Sicily, of the Sicilians. Okay? Here we go. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that's not true. Actually, yeah, it is, but I gotta tell you why. They don't tell you why yet. I'm gonna tell you why right now. It's not true. They didn't go to Sicily. Look, I'm sorry, they did go to Sicily. Yeah, they went to Sicily. They went to Sicily. Here you go. Here is Sicily. Here is Malta. Okay? They actually came from Tunisia, Tunis, right here, and they went over to Malta. Okay? From Malta, they went to Sicily. Okay? They migrated to Sicily from Malta. And from Malta, they brought the Arabic secular language with them. I'm going to show you. Right here. Maltese, secular Arabic, and Allah, surviving in Maltese, the Arabic dialect of Malta. Maltese is a so-called mixed language with a substrate of Arabic, a considerable substrate of Romance origin, especially Sicilian, and to a much more limited extent English, the Semitic Western Maghrebi Arabic. So this is Arabic that comes from the Maghreb, the Moors. Okay? Element is evident enough to just the real Moors. Okay? Element is evident enough to justify considering the language a peripheral dialect of Arabic. So Maltese is a peripheral dialect of Arabic. It's a form of Arabic. It's spoken in the island of Malta to this very day. Okay? Now check it out. Maltalex. That's from Maltalex. You see how those sources? That's from Maltalex, a computational lexicon for Maltese by M. Rosner J. Carana and R. Fabri, University of Malta. It's straight from Malta. They're telling you that their language is a peripheral dialect of Arabic. That's not Shakka Ahmose. All the links are on the bottom for you who say I don't give sources. We almost there. Check it out. Professor Joseph M. Brincat teaches Italian linguistics and medieval literature at the University of Malta. He holds degrees from universities of Malta, London, and Florence. The real beginning of the Maltese language took place in 1048. We almost there, but we almost.
You see how it skipped? He finished that and it skipped to something else. I had nothing to do with the story of Allah's origin. You know, so he just tried to throw stuff in there to keep people, I guess, thinking that he knows what he's talking about. Sorry, but I don't know.
There. Look at all the different versions of fezzes, different Lamassu, Sumerian cultures, right in the
I'm done with it. That's it.
All right, alhamdulillah. Now Wednesday, people, we're gonna be back. You know what I'm saying? For the brothers that don't know, tell them the name of your channel, Aki, so they could go over there and subscribe.
I'm Islam Salam 7. It's Islam Salam 7 is my channel. You know I'm new to this and I'm true to this.
All right. Let me try.
Akeem, I really appreciate you, man. You good looking out. You good looking out on the front, man.
We gonna listen. We gonna turn this into something, man.
I'll tell you next week. Next one, we're gonna do the difference between the Quran and the Bible, because too many people say that they don't read the Quran because they already figure that it's like the Bible. Say, well, we need to read the Quran. It's just like the Bible. It's not. It's not. It's not.
But yeah, that'll be an interesting subject. Well, I'll promote it beforehand. That way we'll get a crowd of people up in this joint. You know what I'm saying? For the people that did pull up today, man, we appreciate y'all pulling up, man. Everybody knows this is my big brother, Islam. Not everybody's attracted to the titles, you know what I'm saying? But look, it is what it is. We're not looking for 3,000. We're looking for 300. You know what I'm saying?
You got 14 watching and 47 likes. So I guess not that bad, I guess.
Nah, the message is gonna go out there. We gonna
Inshallah. That's the most important thing, and that I want Sanetta and all those people to know. Stop talking about us. Stop trying to diss us. Stop doing that. Let it be natural. If you want to spread your thing, spread it naturally. Don't have to lie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You don't have to get out there in the street and be screaming at people that the original Jews are black. Doesn't matter. See, what happened was, this is why the people like this, because when Musa gave the message to the Jewish people, to the children of Israel, it was for everybody. They made it solely for them. But Judaism was supposed to be for everybody. They made it solely for them, and this is why you have that superiority complex that Jews had against, just like white people have, just like everybody have this racial superiority, and we all in this thing together, man. We can't. God not gonna judge our skin. Allah not gonna judge us our skin. He gonna judge us how the people we are, whether we're good human beings. I was telling my children, Aki, man. I said, I don't care what religion a person is, whether they're Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, whatever you are. If you're not a good human being, you hide behind religion. You have to be a good human being before you could be anything. That being said, Assalamu alaikum, Aki. Have a good day.
Salaam, rahmatullah. Now, people that pulled up today, right? That's my brother again, Islam Salam. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do hopefully another one on Wednesday. Where it'll be the Quran, the difference between the Quran and the Bible, which a lot of people will pull up for that because a lot of people want to know about that. So I'll see y'all brothers Wednesday. I'm gonna talk to Islam in a little while, and we're gonna whip something up for y'all for Wednesday, inshallah. All right. Thank you for pulling up.